Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to tattoo rabbits except with a much better tattooer. This right here, I have the EquaTat, which it looks like the brand of the tattooer is actually called Spin Brush, but this is what it looks like. I just ordered it off of Facebook through a Facebook page called EquaTat. They basically just asked for my address and what I wanted, and they sent it over within, I think it was a week that I got it. So main difference between this pen and the one that I had before is this section here. The last one was literally just like the needle was here attached directly to this electric section. So it was smaller and you could grip here. But with this one, you actually kind of have to grip down on this, which is a little bit of a different feel for me, but it is just fine considering it works so much better. This is the needle situation. It's a lot more heavy duty. The last pen I had was plastic here, and it also had not as great of a needle, but with this EquaTat, it comes with needles, and you can buy ink through it too that are human grade, like you could use on people, and it would be an effective and amazing tattoo. Clearly very fast, very strong. And then with that, I got this Black India ink, which is supposed to be very pigmented and pretty much the best ink to use. I also decided to order some numbing spray. This is completely optional, but I decided that it would be nice to have. It helps make the tattoo less painful or uncomfortable for the rabbits, so I'm all down for that. This one was, I think it was somewhere around like 12 bucks or something, so altogether this was under $100. I think it was around 90. And of course it comes with some cleaners, a couple replacement needles, and of course a couple of ink holders. So it's a really great deal and it works incredibly, and I'm about to show you. In addition to the EquaTat and those supplies, what else I use to tattoo is usually a towel I wrap the rabbits in so that they aren't able to hurt themselves trying to get away from me, or so they can't scratch me because I'm allergic. And then I usually use like a damp cloth or napkin to kind of wipe ink off on throughout the process to make sure it's not too messy. I usually have some form of protective glove. I just use these little winter gloves. They've saved me before, but they won't save you from like a really intense mistake, so be careful. This is my old tattooer. This is one I do not recommend. It was either a KB or an Easy Tat. And as you can tell, it's just not as high quality. It's a little bit slower, the needle's not great, they don't hold up very well, and the ink doesn't get in deep as it should. I think it worked well for me for maybe a year, and then at that point it probably would work fine if I got a good new needle, but it just doesn't work nearly as well as this EquaTat. So I'm about to show you how this works with a couple Californians that I have that I'll be about to tattoo. So here are the 3 candidates for tattooing. Please remember that if you're bringing rabbits from outside to be tattooed in the winter or in extreme temperatures, be careful because rabbits are very susceptible to sudden temperature changes. So I'm doing it in my semi-heated entryway here where they will not overheat or have too much shock in the system. So I usually start by getting a chair here and another chair where I can set my ink and things, and then I will grab one rabbit and wrap them up in the towel and get started. I will give you the bird's eye view. Always shake your ink before you get started, and then be very conscious of where your ink is because this stuff is super pigmented and you don't want to spill. Only use about as much as you need, which you're never going to use the whole thing, but you don't want to dull the needle on the plastic. So I've got this dampened so I can wipe the air down and make sure that the tattoo's going on nicely. Get my gloves on. Something that I think about is how I want to tattoo my animals. I want them to be identified by their tattoos. I also like to follow themes. A lot of breeders do their name is their tattoo, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. Other breeders will do like a combination of letters and numbers. You can do letters and numbers, but you cannot do any special characters or anything like that anymore. Try to keep it simple, but also identifying. These rabbits are not well handled. They're a little bit skittish. Obviously, you're going to want to go into the left ear, which is where identification should be. I kind of do a little bunny burrito so that they can't hurt themselves by reacting or kicking. All right, and then we've got some numbing spray. I'm going to take the left ear and left when the rabbit is facing away from you. One spray of numbing spray for him. I'm gonna let that dry. A rabbit's inner ear is less sensitive than the outer ear, so if you can place the tattoo a little deeper, they're gonna thank you for it. All right, and then I'm gonna take the cap off right as I'm about to use it. And sometimes you wanna brace the ink pad, but I'm just gonna go like this. And since it's not getting in, I'm gonna have to grab it. So you gotta be really careful with this, but you wanna kind of get the ink sucked up into the needle a little bit. All right, so this guy is Bowser. I'm gonna start with a B as deep in as I can. It's a long tattoo for a long ear. This is my first letter, so I'm always evaluating to make sure that it's getting on there properly. I'll bring you in a little bit closer here. So as you can see, that B is placed in there pretty nicely. It was very nice and quick versus my previous tattooer that didn't do as nicely. So I'm gonna bring you nice and close for this next couple of letters. I usually have to dip into the ink for each letter or letter and a half, depending on how big they are. I just like to wipe off as I go, but most breeders don't worry about that. As you can see, I started to run out of ink there, so I'm going to fill up again. Starting to run out of ink. You don't want to go over it too many times, so it's always better if you can kind of just get it in one pass. So as you can see, this goes on really easily and really nicely. So far I've got 4 out of 6 letters, and the rabbit has barely even flinched at all. If you don't have a numbing cream, the rabbit's going to flinch more often, and you're going to have to brace them a little bit better. But with this, it goes on nice and easy. So we've got 2 letters left, maybe 1 or 2 more ink dips, and then I'm all done with this one. So it doesn't matter what your handwriting looks like as long as it's legible. And as you can see, we have a very legible Bowser in the ear now. And so we're all done with that one. Some people like to clean the area with alcohol wipes just to make sure there's no infection or dirtiness. I personally have never had an issue, and I never really did that. As you can see, this is very legible, and it shouldn't even really fade much with time. It might fade a little bit, but not a lot. Also, this rabbit is not very well handled, and as you can see, he's pretty relaxed and pretty chill. On to rabbits 2 and 3. It seems like the ink isn't taking up as well right now, and that's probably because I didn't fill as much as I should. You don't want it to hit the bottom or sides, but I don't like to waste as much, so I try to get away with using as little as possible. That looks pretty bright and legible there, peach. All right, and we've got one more to go. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more ink because I think that I'm shooting myself in the foot here by not having enough ink in the ink tray. I hate wasting it, but you really don't want to dull your needle. All right, this one's gonna be Zelda. As you can see, it's already going in a lot better. Seems like the ink sucks up in a lot more. As you can see, I did 2 letters there without needing a break. I probably could have done more, but I just want to make sure it's full. 3 letters in a row, no problem. And that says Zelda. There you have it. It's really important that you rinse them very quickly after use. I'm going to take these apart as well as rinsing this gradually down the drain. It's very pigmented, guys. It'll turn your whole sink black, so I like to do it slowly. Quite the needle, huh? Then you really want to let the parts dry before you put them back together. You really don't want to leave excess moisture in your machine. When it comes to aftercare, there's really not much you need to do with rabbits. At the very least, you can just keep an eye and make sure that nothing's becoming inflamed. But I've never ever had an issue tattooing rabbit ears, even without an alcohol wipe. So just keep an eye on them, take care of them as usual. If you do happen to notice signs of any infection or skin rejecting the tattoo, then do normal stuff that you would do for yourself if that happened. Any antibiotic care, topical, or that kind of thing. So yeah, if you have any more questions, I definitely highly recommend the EquaTat. Compared to anything else I've used before, it is so effortless, so amazing, so solid and beautiful. So definitely get that for yourself. And if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you. Bye.